Welcome to my annual look at the hot stocks for the following year in the Australian stock market. I've got 9 for you today, some old favourites and some very new stocks thrown in as well. I'm also going to have a look at the Australian stock market, the ASX 200, to see what it's up to at the moment, where it could be heading next. So if you want to find out what's on my hot list for 2023, join me now and let's get into that analysis. Let's start with the Australian stock market. That's the ASX 200. A bit of technical analysis in there on the longer term. We've got Heikin-Ashi chart going back to 2012, so a good long-term history of what's been going on. And as we can see, this first takeaway is that it's been quite a nice upward slope, apart from this really big dip, which was around the COVID time where things really turned nasty. But I've included this gain here, that's 73.5% recovery, and since then it's been a bit, well, topsy-turvy and been heading slightly negative. Interesting Fibonacci number here, 6400 zone. Look at that double bottom, nice W shape building out. Using the rules of technical analysis, then we could see that maybe somewhere in this early 8,000, 8,100 sort of zone. And in dream world, if it can get through those highs, you know, we could even see 9,000 on the scorecard. Long way off, but you know, not impossible. It's looking a nice, steady, strong market. Obviously, highly influenced by commodities. You know, the mining, minerals types of businesses there, and what impact China has on the economy there as well. Very important to take into consideration. Other signals, the trend filter at the moment, well, it's just turning a bit negative to the downside after briefly turning positive again, so watch for that switch. In terms of the 200 moving average, you can see this white line here trading above it, so that's also encouraging. Also where that sort of double bottom pattern played around and bounced off, so maybe that's a strong resistance point for us to build something into the future and to get us traveling off into the up zone. So now let's get into those 9 stocks. We'll take a quick look at a snapshot of the symbol distribution to see what sectors and industries these 9 have been lurking in. And on the sectors front, on the left there, 4 sectors: non-energy, energy, industrial services and technology services. On the right, broken down further, precious metals and engineering construction being the biggest 2 at 22% each. And then we've got it quite nicely distributed after that: steel, oil and gas production, coal, IT and other metals and minerals, 11% each. So that's the breakdown of the 9. So now let's dig in to that 9. So first up, Perenti Global, and this is one of my curveball picks. It's new to the list, and they are metal and mining's company. As you can see, they hadn't been doing too well for the last 5 years, but things certainly picking up over the second half of 2022, storming through their 200 moving average, as you can see there, and then approaching that key Fibonacci line, 1.265, looking for a break of this sort of trend area to push it on up to 1.945 and 3.045 the highs. That would be really good. You can see the trend filter is positive, volume and volatility there a bit flattish, but it's encouraging signs. These guys, you know, are big players globally in Australia, Africa, North America. Lots of different mining services, very diversified, you know, surface, underground mining, also into investments and group functions as well. So a lot to look out for in these guys. And like I say, it's the curveball mining stock pick for 2023 on my list. Now, second up, we have Champion Iron Limited, another newcomer to the list, and as their name suggests, they are a metal mining iron ore company Australian-based exploration and development. Got a subsidiary in Quebec. Like I said, look at the chart. It's been growing very nicely. Pretty volatile, as we can see. We have a look at those swings that it's been having in the last couple of years, but you go to those charts, nice strong double bottom pattern there building also around those sort of Fibonacci lines. So it has been growing nicely from even, you go back 7-8 years, that's a 3,500% return. And where can it go next? Well, if we drag out a bit, if that double pattern plays out, then it's not out of the realms that we could be seeing around about $10-11. So Champion Iron, second choice there, newcomer, and like I say, looking quite positive. Next up, we've got Worley Limited, an energy equipment and services company providing project asset services in the energy, chemicals and resource sector. Now, they have been in a better place. You take it back a decade, and as we can see, there was that decline in the price down to lows around February 2016. It recovered a bit and then has been disappointing, really, down there to the COVID lows, but since then it's picked up very nicely. So if we're looking at potential targets, a lot of noise around that 50% Fibonacci at $17, then above that $20 dream scenario for next year, up to those highs around $31-32. Next up, Woodside Energy, another, as it says in the name, energy company. Now, they've been on our list from this time last year, and they've not disappointed. They put in a sterling 2022, and they're at, we're just coming off of those all-time highs around $39-40. Volume slightly down from that rapid growth that we can see, same with volatility, but trend filter still very positive. And if we scale in a bit on that price action and we have a look at dreamland scenario upsides, then it's got to get through those highs, and then it's just to under $50. Then we have NRW Holdings, a construction and engineering firm providing contract services to resources and infrastructure sectors in Australia. Main three segments: civil, mining, minerals, energy and technologies. Really cover a lot of areas, but mining segment specialists, so heavily tied into that world as well. Now we can see on the chart really nice growth from 2016 up to the early part of 2020, and then really it's been a bit of a sideways plough since then, in that range from its lows at just around $1 to its high that it achieved at around $3.50. But things again, 2022 looking good, approaching or breaking through that Fibonacci line at 2.71. See it trading above its longer term 200 moving average. It's got to get through the highs at 3.5 area before it can even think of pushing on up to the 5 zone. Another one of the favourites, and from last year's list, Whitehaven Coal, and it again hasn't disappointed. A great 2022. Let's just put the percentage return on that. So what's it done? So yeah, at one point it was up nearly just over 300%. It's pulled off a little bit since, but then testing those highs once more. We got that double top there, needs to break if it can get on up to the sort of 15 area. But as the name suggests, for those new to the company, they are a company focused on development and operation of coal mines in New South Wales and Queensland in Australia. But they've been a very decent stock in 22 and hoping that they can push on through into 23. Another mining company, Perseus Mining. This one is all into gold production and exploration and project development in Ghana and the Ivory Coast in West Africa. And as you can see, it's been a slow, steady grower and picked up of late, where it's been pushing up onto all-time highs around the early 2s. You can see a lot of support maybe around that 1.5 zone if the price did fall back, but in terms of indicators, it's bullish trend filter. Volatility slightly picking up, not so great on the volume, could do a bit more there. But upsides, if it does break through those recent highs, then it's going to be targeting 3 as its next stop. Another one from the previous list, Computershare Limited, and again has done pretty well. Marked on the chart there, you can see a 31% gain over the year. Now, it's an IT services company, internet service provider, so slightly something different to the more energy mining, type service stocks we've been looking at the moment. And it's been a nice grower. It's been pushing on for a while. It's been staying within this 2 standard deviation regression trend for a long while, so you can time your way in quite nicely on those parameters. And if it breaks out above upsides, it gets through those highs, 36, 37 sort of area. But as you can see from the trend, it's been bullish for a long old while. So that's Computershare Limited. And to round things off, we've got another new one, IGO Limited, a metals and mining company, but this time with a bit of a twist. They're focused on enabling clean energy. So a different slant on the typical traditional type of metals and mining companies there, into nickel, copper, cobalt, lithium, mostly in Western Australia. But it's been an interesting ride on the stock chart, growing very nicely from those lows in COVID times to those highs over 400% before pulling off back down into, I would say, this 14 zone where you can see historical price action, but then there's a lot of space for it to fall back down to $10 if it doesn't perform as we hope. Now the trend is still just about bullish. There's a spike in volume, as you can see around there just a few weeks ago, and volatility has picked up a bit, and that volume did bring that price, like we say before, down, and we are on the positive side for this stock. So in terms of upside, if it can get through those highs once more, bounce from here, turn around, highs of 17 and a third, then 23, 24 is the upside zone. So there you go, that's my 9 for 2023. Love to hear your thoughts on those 9 in the comments below. Do you agree, disagree with them? What would you have had in your shortlist for next year? Like I say, love to hear from you. Now, if you want to learn more about trading and get to that next level, then I've got a great playlist for you. Full ultimate trading training course for you, built only on YouTube, and if you follow it from the beginning to the end, it's going to really help you for next year. And here is the link to that playlist now.